It may sound a bit unusual to return to a previous generation game months after a game like Assassin's Creed Origins has released, but the remastered version of Assassin's Creed Rogue proved that this was probably the most underrated Assassin's Creed title ever released. In Assassin's Creed Rogue, you play as Shay Patrick Cormac, an Irish guy, although the accent is a bit questionable. As a Templar, you're playing on the bad side after something happens with the Assassin Order, and he sort of loses trust in them after he nearly dies due to an incident. But that's not really the crux of the game. The main part of the game is the sailing or the pirate aspect that was continued on from Black Flag. And in this game it's been expanded upon, and you have dozens of locations to visit as well as a vast open sea. And the gameplay here, especially in terms of the boat, parts of it is definitely some of the most fun I've had in a long time. And what's crazy to say about that is it is a game that released on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 back in 2014, I believe, and it was something for the previous generation audience to play while the next generation of audience played Assassin's Creed Unity. And what's crazy here is this remastered version doesn't just sort of up everything to 4K, it actually enhances so much of it to the extent that it feels like it's a game that could have released today, and you would say that it looks incredible. The assets here, you can tell they were created with 4K in mind. There's a lot of great detail to it. Your ship itself is incredible. The amount of, once again, detail, the fine parts of it look really, really good. And the sea, when you're sailing on the sea, it's just absolutely stunning. It's up there with some of the best looking sort of water physics or games that feature water that I've ever played. But a lot of the time you will be visiting locations, taking down enemy ships and gathering some resources. That resources will be then used to upgrade your ship, and there are quite a few options to upgrade your ship, both in attack and defense, and different types of weapons to help in the fight, like to sort of focus on the sails of an enemy ship, or to actually dig in to get some holes that will follow up with some shots that will cause explosions. It's a lot more deeper than I remember even. There's a lot of aspects to the gameplay itself, especially on the ship, that's really impressive, and I found it very hard to stop playing it, especially the piratey aspects. A lot of locations are really small except for New York. New York is a fair sized area, but you will spend most of the time on your ship on the seas. And that's probably the best thing about this game, is if it was a lot more like the older Assassin's Creed titles where you're in cities and you're stalking and assassinating and all that, it may feel a little outdated, especially compared to Assassin's Creed Origins. But the crux of this game, like I said a few times already, is the pirate aspect. It's being on the ship, and I feel it's so drastically different to Assassin's Creed Origins, but it's still up there in terms of quality. It's definitely worth looking at, especially if you've never played the game. And if you've never played this game, you will be pleasantly surprised. And the ending is done in such a sense that it sort of leads into Assassin's Creed Unity. So it was always a great part of the series. It wasn't just something that was thrown together to just appease people who didn't upgrade. This was definitely always designed with a focus of it being part of the overall spectrum of Assassin's Creed games. And here, this is easily one of the better games in the series, and I can only really highly recommend it because it's a game that could have released today, and I would still be telling you it's such a great release. Regardless of the remastered aspect of it, it is an incredibly fun game.